Hey indie game fans, welcome back to I Dream of Indie. This is Old Gamer Joe here with another review for you today. We're looking at Fallen Angel, an action indie RPG that comes from developer Matryoshka Games and was published by V Publishing and Surefire Games. There is a demo available on Steam, but the full game will be released as of October 22nd of 2020. Interesting little twist on things here as you're actually playing as Lucifer and battling your way through various realms of heaven. As you battle your way through these different realms, you'll discover that each one of them is ruled by a powerful archangel, and it's up to you to defeat them. If you want to be successful in doing so, you'll have to rely on your pure gaming skills here, as you can dash, attack, and you do have healing items that you can access pretty easily, and you'll need to as you're going to take quite a bit of damage at times in this game. You'll also discover equipable items as you defeat some of the archangels across this biblical world, as well as gain new abilities, such as fairly early on you'll gain wings which help you to platform around the different locations. Some ability upgrades are a little bit off the beaten path, while some of them are more obvious to acquire, so you do need to do a bit of exploration in Fallen Angel. How you explore this world is somewhat up to you as well, as there are branching paths and you can go off into different directions at different times if you so wish, fighting different archangels at different times. Whether you're taking down enemies or bosses, they all have unique patterns which you'll want to learn and study carefully so that you don't take damage and survive this world. I do think some of the upgrades are really the star of the show here. You get some really neat abilities, but what really helps to set Fallen Angel apart is the fact that you can actually turn into an even more hellish creature by charging up your meter, and this is done by dealing out and taking damage. When you do morph into this hellspawn, you'll find that you can dash around the screen more quickly and you'll deal out a lot more damage to both enemies and bosses. Overall, the game doesn't play half bad. I enjoyed the combat system. I liked learning the different enemy patterns. Unfortunately, a few glitches here or there with the bosses did spoil the party a bit for me. I actually lost my save, which is really one of my big pet peeves. I don't know why the game didn't save for me, but that meant going all the way back to the beginning of this game, and I was surprised when I encountered one of the bosses that I had fought on my first playthrough. Its pattern was entirely different. It got hung up and it was just chucking the same attack at me over and over again. It was almost an impossible situation to actually beat the boss, and I couldn't unglitch it. Now, you do have save towers in this game which are supposed to automatically save your data, and they say that they do anyways, but unfortunately that wasn't the case here. I did play through again a second time, and the save system seemed to be functioning this go around, but that's really unfortunate. I lost a lot of hours of progress, and thus, I can't lie, that always leaves a little bit of a bitter taste in one's mouth, but still, I can't deny that when Fallen Angel is functioning correctly, it's actually pretty fun to play and explore. And hey, why not do it with a friend, because the game actually even includes a co-op feature, and I think that's a pretty neat thing for a game like this. Graphically, Fallen Angel has a really nice aesthetic to it. If you're familiar with games like Hyper Light Drifter, or more recently, Ita, this won't really look much different from those games. It'll actually feel quite familiar, but the thematic tones of this title are certainly a little bit unique, I must admit. I like the animations of the different characters, the enemies, the environments are all pretty unique from one another. You'll come across some really interesting places along your playthrough, including cyberpunk-themed areas or more angelic-themed areas. There's a lot to explore here. It's a fairly big world, and I think that the graphics do a good job of bringing it to life with some really great pixel art. And as far as the soundtrack and the sound effects are concerned, I actually think the music in this game is really effective. It reminded me of older PC games, a little bit chilling and unnerving. It's actually a great soundtrack with some wonderful synth. The sound effects, though, are fairly forgettable. There is a little bit of voice acting here or there. It's nothing exceptional. It doesn't add a lot to this world. It's actually a bit unusual to hear the voice acting kind of come out of nowhere, but it's not offensive either. So overall, I think Fallen Angel does a good job of using the pixel art aesthetic to its advantages. It does feel familiar to other indie titles, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. The moody, atmospheric soundtrack is really quite effective. Overall, I had my frustrations. I ran into some bugs with Fallen Angel, but I ultimately did get back in there, and I played it again a lot more than I thought I would. So that says something about this title. The world is really fun to explore. The combat system's not half bad. I enjoyed all the different upgrades that you'll acquire along the way, and I liked branching off and exploring the world and learning all of the different boss patterns. I didn't think the difficulty was overly frustrating in this game, and while maybe the thematic tone won't sit well with everyone, it didn't really bother me necessarily. I do think that Fallen Angel is worth your time if you're a fan of games in this genre. So will you be checking out Fallen Angel? Let us know in the comments section below, and if you have enjoyed our video coverage today, consider hitting that subscribe button. It helps us to bring a voice to the voiceless ones in gaming. There's a ton of other ways that you can support I Dream of Indie down in the description box below. That includes becoming a channel member or even checking out our merchandise store. However you end up supporting us, thank you so much.